back, it's Lindsay, and today I'm going to be doing the blush tag. I wasn't specifically tagged to do this, but I thought it looked like so much fun, so I just want to give it a try, jump in, talk about some of my favorite blushes, and if you're watching this, consider yourself tagged, and I would love to see your video. Just leave a comment down below with your video link, and I would love to check it out. So the blush tag is all about blush. It has 14 different questions, and I've got a whole bunch of different stuff out here to talk about, so let's just jump right in. Question number 1 is best packaging, and I have to give this to 2 different blushes by the same company. And the first one is one that's been around for a while. They've come out with a couple more, but that is the Too Faced Sweetheart blushes. I absolutely love these. They are just stunning and gorgeous, and this one actually sits on my vanity all the time because it is just so pretty that I just like to have it out and look at it. The other one is also from Too Faced. It's the Love Flush blushes, and I just absolutely love not only the exterior of this packaging, but I also just love the way that the blushes are presented in the package. I think that it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the way that the cardboard around the blushes kind of matches that tone, so you get a little bit better idea of what these are going to look like and sort of what the colors are. So I'm absolutely in love with these, plus I love the fact that it has a mirror. The next question is prettiest color, and I swatched and swatched and swatched, and honestly I came up with so many different ones that are the prettiest colors, and I wanted to talk about pretty much every single blush that I have in my collection. But this is one that every single time I put it on my face, I always think, man, that's why I love that so much. And I hate to use it every single day because I know that this particular rose pattern is going to go away. But the Milani powder blushes, this is an American Beauty Rose. This color is just so, so, so beautiful. And that's what it looks like right there. And then that's what it looks like when you kind of blend it out. It is just, drop my tail here. It is just absolutely a beautiful color. And I don't think that the swatch really does it justice for how vibrant and alive that this blush makes me look with my skin tone. I absolutely love these. I would love to find more of them, but it seems like every time that I find these at Milani, this is the only one that they have. So I absolutely adore that particular blush. Most pigmented, I'm going to have to give that to Makeup Revolution. This is the Sugar and Spice Ultra Blush Palette. And these colors are just sort of crazy in how pigmented they are. I mean, look at that. That is just crazy for pigmentation. You have to have a light hand with these. They look absolutely stunning when you wear them, but the pigmentation is just absolutely crazy, and that palette's only like $10. So, and you can see even when I try to wipe that off, it's still there. So I definitely have to give that to Makeup Revolution. The next one is Everyday Blush, and I really couldn't narrow this down to one because frankly, you know, there are different days that I want different things. So I came up with 3. That's fine, right? I can break the rules. So the first one is one that I'm sure a lot of people have talked about, and that is the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. This is a very, very beautiful peachy blush, and it looks absolutely stunning for every day. It's not going to be too much. It gives you a nice glow to your cheeks, and I think that it works well anytime that I do a warm look. If I'm not doing a warm look, then I don't really think that that's the best everyday blush for me. So there's 2 that I really turn to all of the time. This one has kind of been my staple everyday blush for a long time, and this is the Kat Von D blush in Truth. I think that this is just a beautiful everyday blush. The swatch does nothing to do it justice because it's so light. But this is such a great everyday blush because of that, because it just gives you a natural flush to your cheeks. It just makes you look healthy and not so much like you put blush on. Whereas with the Luminoso, it's got that glitter in there, it's got that sparkle. It doesn't necessarily look just natural. Another blush that is very, very similar to that one that I think is just a beautiful everyday blush is by Studio Makeup, and this is in the color Wildflower. And this is a little bit of a softer color. You can see that they are very, very similar in tone. This one's just a little bit pinker. This one has a little hint of peach to it and a little bit more pigmentation to it. So if I want that healthy glow, but it's in the summer, but I have a little bit more of a tan, then this is the one that I grab for versus the Truth, because they are very, very similar. They give that very natural, flushed, healthy look. Just, I need the other one for when my skin tone is a little bit darker. Okay, let's see if I can get back to my questions here. Party blush. Now, I don't really go to parties very often, but if I have a big event and I'm trying to do something a little bit special, there's one of two blushes that I grab for, and they both are fairly similar. The first one is by Too Faced, and this is a Full Bloom Ultra Flush Powder Blush in Sweet Pink. And the reason I would like this one for a special event, and I do wear this one on everyday occasions too, is because it has that nice sparkle and glitter to it, but it's not really over the top. It's kind of hard to see in the swatch there, but it is just, it's really just an absolutely beautiful blush. It gives you a very, very nice look. I think if you had a darker skin tone, then this would probably look pretty washed out on you because of the type of pink that it is, but very, very fun. The other blush is by Tarte. This is actually a mineral blush in Rosy, and this blush is so fun, and it's got quite a nice, pretty, just soft pink glow to it, and it really just sort of lights your face up, which is why I would say that it is a party blush, because it does just really give you that lit from within, that glow. Product I regret purchasing. I have 4, but 3 of them are really the same. The first one is this Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Cheek Flush. And I regret purchasing this because it just doesn't work. When I try to put it on my cheeks this way, it just moves everything underneath it. And if I try to take my stipple brush and use it on, then I just don't think that I get a very even application. It's very, very creamy. I have used this for a lip gloss, and I like it a whole lot better than I do as a blush. As a blush, I cannot make it work for my skin type, or, without it just moving everything underneath it. The other blushes that I regret purchasing, and I wanted to love these so, so badly, are the Wet n Wild Ombre blushes. The colors are so beautiful, and when you look at them right here, they look stunning. I wanted to love this purple one so bad. This is in a purple haze. This one is My Thai Buy You a Drink, and this one is the Princess Daiquiris. I have tried these and tried these and tried these, and these just do not show up on my skin tone. If you are the fairest of the fair, these would probably be gorgeous on you. But on my light to medium skin tone, it does not show up at all. And I know that I look a little bit more fair than I probably actually am. I've swatched these, I've showed them on Instagram. They just do not show up, because I am a little bit closer to a medium skin tone right now. So if you are the fairest of the fair, then you might love those, but they just didn't work for me at all. Least used. Probably my least used blush is this Dalton Cream Blush in Flirt, and it's not because I don't like it. Because I think that the color is absolutely, absolutely beautiful, and I love the way that it looks on my skin. I'm not a fan of cream blush, which is why it is the least used, but this one actually works with my skin. I have pretty oily skin in the summer, and I have combination skin the rest of the time. I do get maybe dry for a couple of weeks in the winter, and that's about it. This is the only cream blush that I've ever found that works for my skin, and I really need to grab for it more because I do absolutely love the color. Most used, would never let go of. All of them. Can I say all of them? Is, is, is that an option? I would say probably the ones that I would never want to let go of are my Wet n Wild blushes. And it's not because they are the absolutely most used in my collection, because I do use a lot of my blushes, but because they are so affordable and they are so pigmented and they are so beautiful. If I had to get rid of every other blush in my collection, I would cry. I would absolutely cry. I couldn't do it. But if for some reason I couldn't afford to buy any other blushes, these are the ones that I would stick to because they are so affordable and they are so absolutely beautiful. This one right here is my current favorite in Mellow Wine. They're so soft and so creamy, and I mean, look how beautiful that is. So that's what I would have to stick with. Favorite blush brand. You know, I don't really have so much blush from any certain brand to really make it stand out. I think the most that I have from certain brands are the Too Faced and the Wet n Wild and Tarte, and I can't really necessarily pick a favorite. But if I'm going to have to pick, do I have to pick? The Tarte blushes, which are these really, this is one that came in a palette. I didn't pull out any of my other ones, but they're so beautiful, and they look so beautiful on the skin, and they last all day long. But I could say the exact same thing about Too Faced. So, but you know, if I have to pick one, I'm gonna go with Tarte in this case, because I do think that the color range is absolutely beautiful, and I would say they edge out Too Faced by just a hair, because I think that they last just a little bit longer. You know, I would say generally my days are anywhere from, you know, 8 hours to 14 hours. My Tarte blushes are going to look good for that full 14 hours. My Too Faced blushes are going to have faded by a little bit by hour 12 or 13. So I'm going to go with Tarte for my favorite blush brand. Greatest blush discovery of the last year. I really have two. One of them is a lot less expensive than the other. The first one is the Makeup Revolution matte blushes. These are very affordable. I think they're $3 or $6 a piece, and they are absolutely beautiful. They're not nearly as pigmented as the ones in the palette. They do last all day. They feel so creamy and beautiful. I can't hardly stand it. The other discovery of this year is Fiona Styles, which is a new makeup brand that came to Ulta. This is the Soft Cheek Veil. This is an Imperial. This is not like any other color that I've ever gotten. They're not the softest feeling blushes, but it's this bottom one. The color is absolutely beautiful. It looks so seamless and so smooth on the skin. I'm so glad that I discovered that. There's only 4 colors right now, but being that that is a new brand, I'm hoping that the line will expand, because that Imperial was really the only color that I didn't have anything sort of similar to. Most practical. For my most practical blushes, I'm really going to have to go with the Wet n Wild blushes, because they are beautiful. You get a lot of bang for your buck. There's a whole lot of product in here. This is the old formulation and this is the new formulation, and they're just so inexpensive that I would have to go with those for the most practical. For the least practical, this blush is not one that I don't like. I actually love this blush. It is the packaging that I'm going to say is the least practical. This is a blush by Cargo. This is a water-resistant blush in Los Cabos. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to show it to you. Ah, there we go. Usually I have to have my son come over and pull this out for me. It does look like I could probably depot it, but I don't have anything really to put it in. And it doesn't have a hole in the bottom to poke it out. But I absolutely love this blush. It is so creamy and so beautiful and so soft, and I just love the way that it looks. But most of the time I cannot get this little tin open, so that's why I say it is the least practical. For most expensive, I really have two that are kind of right in the same price range. Both of them I got as gifts from Ryan. One I got for Christmas, one I got for my birthday. One of them I've already mentioned, which is the Stephen Klein NARS palette. You really do get a lot of product in here, and I think it would take me a very, very long time to use this up. So I don't think that it is impractical. I think that it is just very expensive, but well worth his money. The other one is the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani palette. I just got this for my birthday, and I am so in love. I swatched this so many times in the store, but these colors are just absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. I am loving playing with this palette. I think that it is just sweet and beautiful, and I feel very glowy and special when I wear it. I think that if you had darker skin tones, then this might not work for you, but if you're a medium to light skin tone, then this is definitely worth checking out, but it does kind of have a hefty price tag. For least expensive, I am gonna go back to another drugstore brand, and I am going to go with e.l.f. And if I can get this palette open, this is a $6 palette, and for $6 you get 4 blushes. So I think that this is probably the most practical thing that you could buy as far as blush goes, because you get a very nice variety. These colors are really gorgeous. You get, you know, a whole lot of long wear out of these. They really do last for a good 8 hours before they start to fade at all. And so I think that this is probably the least expensive way that you could go about getting blush. So that is all of the blush that I am going to talk about today. I hope that you really enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye. Most expensive. I really have a tie for my most expensive blushes, and they're both in palettes, and my cat's just knocked my light off.